Hi all, today we're going to be talking about quite possibly the most tragic weapon in the entire game. It is quite possibly the worst infantry weapon in the entire game, and that is the XMG-155. This thing is atrocious, I barely put the gold medal on it, and I will probably never use it again because it is that bad. It has extremely low, it has no damage output whatsoever. Sure, it's got a big magazine, but it's a slow reload, and the accuracy is just kinda eh. The velocity's kinda eh. It is bad. It is genuinely probably the worst weapon I've ever used. I would honestly, genuinely even consider the Schrodinger and Tengu better than this thing. It's that bad. So the XMG-155, of course, is available in anti-systems only, and it's bad. 600 RPM, which is low. 150 damage, which means it's a 7-shot body kill or a 4-headshot kill at all ranges. 500 meters second muzzle velocity, 5.7 long, 5.35 short reload speeds, which are slow, 100 round magazine, which is honestly quite useless, bad hip accuracy stats, and pretty okay aim accuracy stats. It is genuinely tragic. So 600 and 150, which is really, honestly, 600 to 143 for all intents and purposes, is bad. For comparison, this is lower than the NS-15M, which is already renowned for having some of the worst primary DPS in the game. However, the 15M gets 0.75 ADS and a bunch of other neat little nice tools to make up for this. The 155 doesn't. It is bad. This puts you in the exact same damage class as the Tanto, except unlike the Tanto, you have bad hipfire accuracy, mediocre aim accuracy, mediocre stats everywhere else. It is genuinely atrocious. There is no reason to use it over any other LMG in the entire game. The Naginata at least has the gimmick going for it of the standstill and you get accuracy. The 15M, while having low DPS, is a fast reload, good cone of fire, good aim, 0.75 ADS. The XMG-100 is a nice starter. The 200 is at least a 167 option for NSO. It's bad. It's just genuinely awful. There is no situation where I could ever recommend someone picking up the XMG-155 because there is no reason to ever use the XMG-155. So for attachments, your standard 1 to 4x NSO sights, they're fine. Honestly, pick your poison here. This gun is so bad that just use whatever you're most comfortable with. I'd honestly go for a 2 because you're so reliant on headshots to get anything done, and I find it easier to headshot with a 2.0 compared to a 1, but it's up to you. In the barrel, everything sucks. The compensator is probably your only option here because at least it'll make the thing even more accurate. Like, it does have low recoil going for it, but that's like the only thing it has going for it, and all these other traits are not worth giving up. Compensator will basically just turn it into a laser. Heavy barrel is a trap as usual, the short barrel is worthless because your hipfire is so bad to begin with, and the flash suppressor is a fine slot filler. In the rail, honestly, they're all fine. The forward grip is fine. The angled forward grip is arguably a waste because the gun is so little recoil anyway, and you're going to be firing big bursts to be able to down people with it, so the penalty here is quite felt. The laser sight is fine, I guess. It's still trash, but whatever. Like, no, even if you take the laser or hipfire, it's still trash, so it's not a big deal. The extended mag is also kind of a waste because do you really need 155 or 150 rounds in this thing? It's already slow on the rate of fire that, like, honestly, good luck running out of ammo before you die with this thing anyway, because you're going to lose engagements with this gun. It is genuinely awful. And the ammo slot, high velocity and soft point is pretty much the same regardless. High velocity will basically give you an ever so slightly longer well, actually no, it doesn't even matter. You have 4 headshot kill regardless. So in that regard, just take high velocity. You'll get 10% more projectile velocity out of it. It's bad. It's bad. And now I have to record live gameplay with it. On Connery, on a Wednesday night, on Osher. This probably isn't going to be a very long video. Oh no. So, as I said, the XMG-155 is genuinely horrible. There is no situation where I could ever unironically recommend this to a player. It is that bad. Like, it has extremely low damage output, and it's not even like, say, look, the 15M has low damage output too, I won't deny, but the 15M has pretty good stats to make up for it, and 0.75 ADS. Guess what? The 155 doesn't. Like, it works, but you just lose. Because you have no damage output. Obviously my aim isn't the greatest, but you have no goddamn damage output. And having a big magazine compared to all the other NSO weapons is not worth losing pretty much any shot you'll ever have at winning a 1v1. The Naginata also has a relatively low damage output compared to other LMGs, but you get the funny gimmick of standing still. Let's see, the Tanto, which is in the exact same damage tier as the 155 rather, is also very low on damage output, but at least the Tanto has the perfect accuracy to make up for having such terrible damage output. Don't get me wrong, I don't believe the Tanto is a good gun by any means, but at least you have something going for you. It is quite possibly the worst infantry weapon in the game. I am hard-pressed to find a candidate that I could consider as bad as this. Even other guns that I have called absolutely terrible bottom of the barrel, at least the Tengu does 200 damage. At least the Schrodinger is shiny. At least the Tanto has perfect accuracy. There's genuinely nothing I can say about the XMG-155. It is genuinely horrible. And I know how much I'm stating this because it is genuinely the worst weapon I have ever used in the entire game. I can genuinely not think of another weapon that I would, like, not use instead. I would rather use the Tanto on my heavy, solely because it at least has perfect hipfire accuracy. Why did the game spawn me at Century Mining anyway? Interesting. Well, we lost our spawns at that base, or maybe because it moved me, I don't know. I guess we're gonna go to the interlink. So this weapon, in summary, this isn't even summary. This weapon can't take 1v1s because you just lose. It's not good at range because you just lose. It's not good at, like, chain fighting because you just lose. It doesn't have 0.75 ADS to justify having such low output. It is so bad. It doesn't even farm players well because of how low the damage is. It's terrible. It's terrible. There's no place where you would actually want to use this gun. I'm trying to get, like, footage of this thing, but, like, you just can't kill anything with it because it has no output. Every other weapon, barring the Tanto at this rate of fire, is doing 167 damage. And the 155 is still a full damage tier below. It doesn't get good hit by accuracy. It doesn't get 0.75 like the 15M. It's awful. It's awful. Of course you can get kills with it. Don't get me wrong, I'm absolutely exaggerating how terrible this weapon is in terms of its killing output. Of course, if you're good at the game, or if, you know, you just play the game, you'll be able to get kills with it. I mean, obviously, you can get kills with some of the worst guns in the game. What I am saying, however, is that there's no situation where the XMG-155 is genuinely better than any other option available, and in general, the XMG-100, your starter weapon, will always perform better than the 155. There's genuinely no reason for it to exist. There's genuinely no reason for this weapon to exist other than purely being a filler weapon so that NSO has a 5th LMG for its directive. It's junk. Now, as for how I would save this gun, honestly, I don't think you can buff it without completely overhauling this weapon. Honestly, I think it needs a complete overhaul. If they want to try and make it a reasonably decent weapon, they need to fully overhaul this thing. Hell, if they want to just make it funny, just turn it into like an 850 at 125 LMG. Make it a shitty Watchman for all I care. You can keep the big mag, you can keep the 0.5 ADS, you can keep the terrible, like, output. Just do something with it. Hell, make it even a 750 at 125 LMG with no drop-off. At least then it might be kind of interesting. And hell, if you're gonna go that far, give it like 1,000 meters a second velocity. Like, if it's going to remain as a bad weapon, at least make it a funny bad weapon, you know? Don't just make it genuinely awful. The only reason I'm racking up kills here is because these Vanu are literally bots and standing right in front of the door, where I have the shield. If I had to take one of these guys in an actual engagement, I would lose.
You have failed the Republic. The facility is lost.
And what I just did there, holding that door and clicking on targets, I could have done better with literally any other LMG. The 15M would have had more damage output, the Naginata would have had better accuracy because I was standing still, the 100 would have just killed them faster, and the 200 would have just killed them faster. It's awful. It's awful. And in recap, that's all I can say. It is awful. It is genuinely horrendous. There's not a single weapon in this game that I believe is worse than this gun. And honestly, if you think there is something worse than this gun, please tell me, because I am genuinely struggling to think of anything that is more pitiful than this sorry excuse of an LMG. It's not worth your time, it's not worth your search, it's not even worth picking up for the meme of it being bad, because it's genuinely, it's not funny bad like some other weapons are, it's just terrible. It's not even like fun bad, it's just terrible. It's just so objectively bad, and not even in a funny way, that it's not worth your time. And anyway, there's no situation where you should ever consider picking this gun up, unless you're going for the Galilei. In which case, you honestly should just buy an NS-15M instead. Thank you all, and I will see you another time. Bye.